welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really powerful tool from Google. It's free, too, Looker Studio.
Yeah, it used to be called Google Data Studio, right?
Exactly. And if you're, drowning in data but finding it hard to actually understand it, this one's definitely for you.
For sure. Think of it like this. It's your way of unlocking the actual stories hidden inside all those numbers.
Uh-huh.
It takes data that might seem, well, complicated and turns it into these interactive reports, dashboards. Makes it way easier to analyze things.
Right. Easier analysis, better decisions. So, our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear then.
Yeah, I think so. We want to show you how Looker Studio can be, like a shortcut.
A shortcut to getting really well-informed fast by pulling out the key stuff from your data sources.
Exactly. We'll cover the basics, creating reports, hooking up your data.
Customizing the visuals, sharing, the whole lot. Okay, let's jump in. Where do we start?
Okay, so first things first, you just need to get there. Open your browser, type in lookerstudio.google.com.
Yep.
And once you're there, that's kind of your launch pad for everything data viz related.
And I remember right away, there's this choice you have to make.
That's right. You can either start with a completely blank report, total freedom,
right?
Or you can use one of their pre-built templates.
Okay, so blank slate versus template. What's the thinking there? When would you pick one over the other?
Well, a blank report is great if you know exactly what you want. Maybe you have a really specific question or design in mind.
Yeah.
Total control.
But the templates?
The templates are brilliant for getting started quickly. You can see how things can look, learn some best practices almost instantly. They give you a foundation you can then tweak.
Right, like a head start. Makes sense. So, okay, let's say we're in blank or template, doesn't matter. The next big step is getting your data in there, right? Connecting it.
Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
And this is a real strength of Looker Studio. It can connect to so many different things.
Why is that variety so important? Can't you just look at one source?
Well, you could, but often the real insights, the deeper understanding comes from combining data.
Okay.
Like you might have sales figures in a Google Sheet, your website traffic in Google Analytics, maybe customer details in a database like MySQL or something.
And Looker Studio lets you pull all those together.
Exactly. Into one single view. So you start seeing connections, patterns you totally miss if you were just looking at each source on its own.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You're building a bigger picture. Let's take a really common example then. Connecting a Google Sheet. How's that work? Walk us through it.
Sure. It's pretty straightforward, actually. You'd click the Create button, then choose Data Source. Then you'll see a list of connections. You just pick Google Sheets, find your spreadsheet file, and select it.
Okay, so I've pointed it at my sheet. What happens then? Does it just know what's what?
Not quite automatically. The next step is configuring the fields. This is where you tell Looker Studio what each column means.
Configuring fields? Okay.
Yeah, you basically label columns as either dimensions or metrics.
Yeah.
Dimensions are your descriptive things like dates, product names, regions, that kind of stuff.
Got it. Categories.
Exactly. And metrics are the numbers you want to measure: revenue, clicks, number of orders, quantities, the things you actually count or sum up.
And getting that right is important, I guess.
Oh, definitely. It's fundamental for making sure your charts and analysis are actually accurate.
Okay, data connected, fields configured. Now the fun part, making it visual.
Yeah, bringing it to life. You've got all your standard chart types to start with. Like bar charts, great for comparing things. Line charts, perfect for seeing trends over time. Tables, obviously, if you need the raw detail. And pie charts, for showing parts of a whole. These are sort of your basic building blocks.
They're workhorses. But I know it goes beyond that, right? There are fancier options.
Oh, yeah. If you've got location data, for instance, the geographic maps are fantastic. You can see where things are happening visually.
Instead of just a list of cities or countries.
Right. Or if you want to see how two different numbers relate to each other, you maybe see if there's a correlation, then scatter plots are really useful.
Okay. So different charts for different questions.
Pretty much. These more advanced ones let you dig a bit deeper, tell more nuanced story with the data.
And once you've picked a chart, say a bar chart, you're not just stuck with how it looks initially.
No, definitely not. The customization is pretty extensive. You can change colors, fonts, how the numbers are formatted, match your company's branding maybe.
Or just make certain things stand out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And crucially, you can add interactive controls, filters.
Filters, like drop-down menus.
Yeah, things like that. Imagine adding a date range slider or filters for different regions or product types. So anyone looking at the report can click and instantly drill down into the specific slice of data they care about.
Ah, so the person viewing it can explore. That makes it way more powerful than just a static picture.
Totally. It turns it from a report into more of an interactive tool.
Now, what about going beyond just showing the data that's already there? Can you, I don't know, create new information within Looker Studio?
You absolutely can. This is where calculated fields come in. It's a bit like writing formulas in Excel or Google Sheets.
Okay, I know formulas.
So if your data source has, say, revenue and cost, you can create a new calculated field right inside Looker Studio called profit margin using a formula like revenue cost revenue.
Oh, I see. So you don't have to pre-calculate everything in your original spreadsheet.
Exactly. You can derive new metrics on the fly specifically for your analysis. It really opens things up.
That's pretty powerful. What else is there in terms of advanced features?
Well, building on that interactivity we mentioned, there are cross filters.
Cross filters.
Yeah. Imagine you have a bar chart showing sales by region and a pie chart showing sales by product category on the same page.
Oh.
With cross filtering enabled, if you click on, say, the North region bar in the first chart, the pie chart instantly updates to show you the product category breakdown just for the North region.
Yeah. Whoa, okay. So clicking one chart filters the others automatically.
That's it. It makes exploring the relationships across different dimensions really fluid and intuitive. You can just click around and see how things change.
That sounds brilliant for finding unexpected connections. Now, what if, like me, you're not exactly a graphic designer? How do you make reports look good without spending ages tweaking colors?
They've thought of that. Looker Studio has themes and styling options. With just one click, you can apply a consistent, professional-looking design across your entire report.
Oh, nice. Like presets.
Exactly. Different color palettes, font combinations.
Oh, I got it.
It takes the guesswork out of making it look polished and easy to read.
Okay, fantastic. So you've built this amazing, interactive, good-looking dashboard. It's telling you all sorts of useful things. Now you need to share it with your team or your boss or a client. How does that work?
Sharing is pretty flexible, too. You got a few main options.
Like?
You can give people view-only access. They can see the report, use the filters, explore the data, but they can't change the report itself.
Standard view access. Makes sense.
Or, if you're working on it with someone, you can give them editor access so they have the same permissions as you to modify things.
Collaborative work, okay.
And, if it's appropriate, you can even make a report public on the web. Though you'd want to be careful with that, obviously.
Right, depends on the data. What if someone just needs a snapshot? Like for a presentation slide or something they can print?
Yep. You can export reports. PDF is a common one for creating a static document.
Okay.
You can also often export the data, sometimes to Excel or Google Sheets, depending on the charts. Useful if someone wants the raw numbers in a familiar format.
And I heard something about automatic emails, sending reports out regularly.
Yes. That's a huge time saver. You can schedule reports to be automatically emailed out as PDFs.
So like every Monday morning, the key sales figures land in everyone's inbox.
Exactly. Set it up once and it just runs. No need for someone to manually generate and send the report each week or month. It really helps streamline that regular reporting process.
Okay, let's maybe zoom out a bit and recap. If someone's thinking about using Looker Studio, what are the really big wins, the core benefits?
I think there are a few key takeaways.
Yeah.
First, you can create really professional dashboards without needing to code. That's huge. Democratizes data visualization a bit.
Right. Lowers the barrier to entry.
Second, the ability to connect all those different data sources in one place. It gives you that holistic view we talked about.
The bigger picture.
Third, the automation aspect. Scheduling reports saves a ton of manual effort, time you can spend actually analyzing the data instead of just compiling it.
Good point.
And finally, just how easy it is to share your findings. Whether it's interactive dashboards or static exports, it helps get insights to the people who need them, fostering that data-driven culture.
So putting it all together, it sounds like a really accessible way to move from just having data to actually understanding and using it effectively.
That's the essence of it, yeah. It empowers you to turn data into real understanding.
So, for you listening, this means there's this free, powerful tool available that could fundamentally change how you interact with your data.
And that naturally leads to thinking about, okay, what's next? If you get comfortable with the basics we've talked about, where could you take it?
Well, you mentioned Google Analytics and BigQuery earlier. I imagine integrating Looker Studio more deeply with those could unlock some serious analytical power.
Absolutely. Connecting directly to GA gives you incredibly rich web analytics visualization. And BigQuery lets you handle truly massive data sets, way beyond what a spreadsheet can manage. Visualizing BigQuery data in Looker Studio is very common for larger organizations.
And those templates you mentioned, are there more advanced ones available?
Oh, yes. There's a whole Looker Studio gallery online, full of templates created by Google and other users. You can find pre-built reports for specific marketing platforms, sales analysis, project management, loads of stuff. Great for inspiration or finding a starting point for a complex report.
So you don't always have to reinvent the wheel.
Definitely not. And that automation piece, connecting it to data sources that update in real time or near real time, means your dashboards can stay constantly current without you lifting a finger.
Wow, okay. Continuous intelligence, almost.
Kind of, yeah. So maybe the final thought for you to consider is this. What specific data headaches do you have right now?
Right.
What reports take up too much of your time? Where do you feel like you're flying blind because the data isn't clear or accessible?
And then thinking about how a tool like Looker Studio, with its ability to connect, visualize, automate, and share, how might that specifically help solve those problems for you?
Exactly. How could it change the way you understand what's happening and maybe, just maybe, help you make better decisions based on facts, not just gut feeling? That's really the potential we're talking about here.